Welcome to the Scottish Parafootball registration platform. The registration platform is the Scottish FA's host for all the affiliated National Associations registration platforms, but obviously today we're just going to concentrate on the Scottish Parafootball website. Your login will be the email address in which you provided to Scottish Parafootball and the one which will be used to set up your login details. Now obviously for this we'll use my own login details, and this will set up my password. Now the password is singly generated for yourself and that will be sent to you through email, but you also have the password reminder element that will allow you to enter your email address and click to continue to if you have forgotten your email. So we'll log into the platform now, and the first thing you'll see is the reset questions, which is 4 questions to allow you to reset your password. Now we recommend that you input these to allow you to move forward. But if you don't want to do that, you can just click out and that will move you to your first bit. So the game leader organisation we've used the setup is Amputee, and you'll see you have the tabs on the top here. You have your clubs, officials, admin contacts, membership, suspensions, competition manager, system users, services, and my details. And we're going to spend a bit of time today just working through each of these to make you understand how you input the information that you require. Now all the information is required, and then we'll discuss through the membership, which once you've completed all these will allow you to gain membership to the registration platform and for your game leader organisation to be accepted under the Scottish Parafootball. So the section we're going to look into now is the officials section. Now the officials are all the individuals who are registered to your individual game leader association, not the club officials, but the officials who help you run your league. Now as you can see, to begin with, your details will be in there initially as the game leader secretary, and all the different positions you can have within your game leader organisation is your chair, your coach and assistant coach, which should be used for your international coaches, the helpers, the people who help you organise your association, your referees, the secretary, which is yourself, and your game leader safeguarding officer. Now as you can see, you can go into a number of different elements. Now as the secretary, each game leader association minimum has to have a secretary, so it will never let you delete the secretary from within that. Now you can go into each of the officials' details and you can see all the different details, their address, their dates of birth, all these different elements, phone numbers, email addresses, their qualifications, the roles within parafootball and football in general, as well as all the other elements from that. You'll also be able to go and update the officials' positions. So if officials take up new positions or take on away from a position, all you simply do is go in and click this. So as a game leader chair, I can go in and add that to my position as a game leader organisation. And as you can see, that will then show up within that element. So when we close that part down, you can see now that David McArdle is also the game leader chair. Now because that is not a required position, you can delete that from the official. Now if you wanted to add a new official, you can move into this, and first of all you'll have to search for them. Even if you know they are not a real person, you'll still need to search for them. So if we input, we try for Robert Craig and we look from him to that, and we search from him, first it will show you that it is an invalid date and month format. So we'll try that again and we search for Robert. It will show that Robert has already been searched for. He has a login and he has an ability, and all we do is we add that person. So it will show you all the details of Robert, it will show you all the details, and then you select a position for him. So we'll put him as a game leader helper. You also need to confirm that your club and organisation has 2 references looking at the sustainability of that person, and you add the official. So it will take a few minutes just to add that on. The person has been added, and then an email will be sent to them, informing them of their login details. So now we can see that Robert Craig is a game leader helper. What it also shows is this element here, that's CW. That CW signifies the child wellbeing training, online training, which has already been disclosed to you. Now, Robert has not completed that, so it shows it red. Now, Robert will need to complete this to allow him to be able to enrol and be part of Scottish Parafootball. As you can see with myself, it's green, and that means that I have completed it, and that is what is needed to move forward. Now, if you are going to add a game official that is not shown, put in when we search for this person, it shows that no matches are found. So again, we have to click to add a new person, and again that will show all these areas here. Type in a postcode, which we'll use Hampden, and then we can access their information and we add this address. We'll also need to make contact details for the individual. So you have to have an email address and put in confirm that email address. We add these contacts. Now we also need to accept there, so if we made Claire the safeguarding officer, and again we need to click that we have confirmed that we have taken 2 references, and we must add this official. So again, an email has been sent to informing them of their login details, and they are required to log in to validate their application. And what that means is that Claire, because she is a new person, she's not filled out the fair processing forms, and she's not filled out the self-declaration forms as well. It'll also show that Claire Gibb is an applicant. Reason for that is that the safeguarding officer is a regulated post, so that means that a PVG needs to be carried out, and one has not been carried out for her within Scottish Parafootball. So that will then mean that an email will be sent to the Secretary of Scottish Parafootball, which is David McArdle, and then they will start going through the process of the applicant. So a PVG must be sent to that. Also does not allow you to add the person to any further roles because their application has not been fully accepted yet. So the process for that person to be allowed to move forward will then have to be undertaken that role. And that is the official section to the registration platform. So we're now going to look at the admin contacts for your amputee association and your individual game leader. So when we click into the admin contacts, it shows that there's no administrative contact. Now you move into that and you select an official. Now that's one of the officials who you have already registered as part of Scottish Parafootball and as part of your game leader association. So if I click on David McArdle, it will then have 3 different elements of the contacts. Now these contacts are who will be contacted by Scottish Parafootball and dependent on some of these areas. So we have 3 areas. We have competition and events, game leader administration and game leader safeguarding. So we'll add that administrative contact. Now we have to ensure that each of these game leaders and each of these contacts are filled for you, allowing you to complete the membership. So we'll go in again. Obviously Claire is the safeguarding officer, will be in charge of all safeguarding elements. Again, that shows up there. And finally we'll go into myself again, so multiple people can hold multiple elements. And as the chair, I'm potentially involved in the game leader administration, and that's been contacted. Again, these people can be deleted, you can remove the contact, but you will need to ensure that each element has got somebody attached to it. So once you've completed the officials and the admin contact section, that will then allow you to move forward to the membership of Scottish Parafootball. Now this allows you to then take up membership of the association, and I'll come up with this page what you have there first. Now first of all, you need to select that you're the one who are authorised to apply for membership to the Parafootball Game Leader organisation. It'll come up first with your officials. Now, your required officials to open a Game Leader membership is the Game Leader Chair, the Game Leader Secretary and the Safeguarding Officer. Now, that's the minimum required that you need to have. Now, that shows you all your Game Leader officials, and obviously Claire Gibb is the Safeguarding Officer, David McArdle is the Game Leader Secretary, as well as the Game Leader Chair. So all the required officials have been met. So we can confirm and move on to the next section. Now we look at the administrative contacts. Now, because we've filled all the different administrative contacts, the 3 that's required, then we are allowed to move on. If for any reason you've not completed this section and you don't have an element that's there, then it will move you back and you will not be able to undertake the membership criteria. It will then allow you to review details. So again, you can look at who your league officials are, and you can look at your administration contact details, and again, that will allow you to continue to move forward. Your application to join Scottish Parafootball has been successfully submitted. This will then jump this part back to the Secretary of Scottish Parafootball and David McArdle, who will make sure that all PVGs have been completed for the required officials, and who will then accept your membership into Scottish Parafootball. We're now going to add to the section where you start to add in the clubs who are members of your organisation. Now, within this section, you'll have the ability to look at clubs who are awaiting membership application. Now, what this means is that their application has been sent to David McArdle at Scottish Parafootball, who will then make sure that all their different coaches and all their different elements have undertaken the appropriate PVG and training exercises. But for you to add in a club, all you simply do is you open this section, you'll create a club name. So we'll get Amputee Football Club, the year they were formed, the men or women section. If we just keep everything as men, unless it's a specific women's team, you have the ability to put in the club sponsors, sponsor address, website, Twitter and Facebook. I wouldn't not worry too much about them. The club can fill out these details for them. At this point, it allows you to create a new club. A new club is created. Click here to go to club details. So if you click on that, it will then take you down into the club information. So that then allows you to look at all these different elements. Within this, it will also allow you to add in an official. Now, you will need to add in an official who is the secretary of the club. Now, there's no officials yet on these. So again, we can see the official positions as club helper, club secretary, club wellbeing and first aid. Now, what you would need to do is to add a new official. So again, we'll just simply use, because we know it's all fine, we'll add in David McArdle as the club official. Now, as you're aware, some people within Game Leader organisations are also attached to clubs. This is fine, but obviously there might be different people. So there's 2 records opened up for David McArdle. We'll use this one, the top one. Again, it will come up with all the different elements. You don't have to worry too much about that. All you do is that is the individual club secretary, and you'll add that official. And this person has been added, and an email has been sent informing them of their login details. So as you can see, this version of David McArdle has not completed the child wellbeing, so they would need to undertake that aspect before they can then gain membership to your individual Game Leader organisation. So if we go back through to clubs, we will now see that clubs are waiting a membership. The Amputee Football is there, and we can look at them and we can see them club from that point. Until they have completed their membership, we can see all their different information as a club. So as a Game Leader organisation, you can see all their individual information, you can see their admin contacts, you can see their teams, their venues, their system users, all the very similar information that you have a read access to for that. Once they have went through all the appropriate information and their membership has been accepted to Scottish Para Football and the Amputee Association, you will now see them as an official club within your organisation. So as a game leader organisation, you also have the ability to input suspensions for players. Now this element here allows you to look at the filtering process of what suspensions are currently undertaken. So you have your two teams, your amputee and your amputee football. You're into there and you don't have any players registered to that, but you have officials. So if we go into amputee football, we have the officials. It's not, you can look at all officials within that organisation, the start date, and you filter. Currently there's no suspensions for that club, however you can add a new suspension. So if we look at the club amputee, we select the team, there's no team from there, there's currently no players, but we can look at the officials, and David McArdle's the only full official within that element because he's undertaken all the different training. We can select the offence that comes under, so kicking and punching an opponent. We can input the start date of when that offence took place. We can look at the number of matches, and then it goes on to the number of matches served. So you may have suspended a player until the hearing has taken place, so you might give them an 8-match suspension, but they've already served 3. So if you undertake that, it shows that there's that point there, that they've got 5 matches still to undertake. What you can also do is just put a simple end date, so you can put a start date and an end date added into that allow you to remain the suspension then. So if you're going to suspend somebody for 6 months, 2 months, whatever it may be. It also has the ability to put in the fine within that element and then to add notes. So if we put an 8-match suspension, 3 have been served, and there is a £100 fine. Now obviously what you have to understand is obviously the rules of the disciplinary before you add anything within this element, and then you can go and add the suspension. Now obviously you need to put in a start date, so the start date will go as now, and then at the bottom of the screen you add the suspension. We need to add a team. Because we don't have a team within this section, we don't have the ability to undertake that element, and that will allow you to add the suspension. Now that suspension will be allowed to be seen by the club and the team that it's affected by within that element. So now we move to the competition manager. Competition manager allows you as a game leader to create your competitions that you're going to undertake this year. So first of all, we're going to add a new competition. Now the competition is there is amputee, so it's a permanent. So the competition name will be the Scottish Cup. We have the initials and short details, so that's required, so just make that Scottish Cup. It's obviously a cup or a league competition, so make this a cup, and the first season is going to be this season, which is 2019-2020. We now add that competition, as we can see it's now been added, so that now shows within that element. So we can view the competition, we can update the competition, we can make competition active or click to disable. So if we click to disable, that means that it's no longer here now. So now we look at all competitions and it comes back up again, and then we have the ability to make that competition active. We also have the ability to delete the competition if we want to remove it from our platform. So when we look now to view the competition, so participants cannot be added and has been created for this competition. So again, we need to create a new season, put in all the details, the competition manual, all these things which isn't really important for us, and we add the competition season. This now shows within that, and participating organisations is the first element we need to do. Now you have the ability to select from any of the Parafootball Game Leader organisations. Now this will only be used to add in multiple ones if we are doing a joint competition for any reason, which would never take place within Scottish Parafootball. So if we select amputee, that will then put the organisation into that organisation, into the competition structure, which will then pull across all the different participating clubs. So now that's been updated, we can click here and it allows us to move into the participating clubs. So again, we select the organisation, amputee, we move that across, and then what that will have from there, it'll have all the different teams that are actively allowed to play within the Scottish Amputee Football Association. Currently there is no teams who are actively allowed to play, and so they are not allowed to be generated through. But you would have the teams, you would select them, and then you'd column the details. You obviously have to have participating clubs, but at this moment in time there is none within the Amputee Football Association that allows that to happen. We move now on to the System Users section. Now the System Users shows all the different elements and all the different officials that we may have within this element. Now obviously, as we spoke before, David McArdle cannot be deleted, and it has his System Users as a full process. Now System Users basically means who can use the system and who has sight and who can make any changes to the system. So as a secretary, you have full access to all areas and the permissions cannot be altered from within that. Now if we go into Claire Gibb, again she's an active user, we can make her an inactive user if for any element that she's left the association, so we can suspend her access. We can delete Claire as a user, but we can also update her permissions. So as we can see within there, we go into para football. Claire has current access, has view only access, and has no. So these are full access, user access from there. So if we go into the league, we can access Claire to have full access and can be able to see everything within our league from in there. That will allow her to see all the details that needs to be seen within there. We can also let her to only see a view access, or we can have no access at all. So from in there we can also look in and say, yep, we want her to be able to see the clubs, we want her to be able to see competition manager, or we can let her see, just have her read access to it, so she can't make any changes to it as well. We also have the ability for Claire, because you are a game leader organisation, you have the ability to see everything that is below you. So club information, player information and team information. Now you might allow Claire to have full sight of all team information, or again you might feel that that's not appropriate for Claire to be able to go on and see club details, to see officials details, officials addresses, player addresses, all these type of elements that you need to be very careful as a game leader organisation to understand what people should be seeing and not seeing, and part of a data protection aspect. If you feel that as a referee they have no need to see any of the player information, you can set the access to no. Now that means that when they log into their system, they will not be able to go in and view any type of information in regards to players or teams or what that may be fit. But again, as an organisation, you need to decide what is best for your association.